Hello guys, my name is Mohamed and today I'll be presenting about human emotional feedback and expressions, specifically smiles, and answering the question of why do we smile. My knowledge issue is to what extent is human behavior explained by the scientists. So first of all, let's get an introduction. What are emotions? Emotions are defined as a complex psychological state that involves three distinct components: a subjective experience, a physiological response, which is the release of chemicals in the brain, such as dopamine and serotonin and others, and behavioral or expressive responses, which is and expressive responses are what I'm going to be focusing on today. So human beings are creatures who are greatly affected by emotions, and often their actions are entirely driven by emotions. Explaining this biologically is because the parts of the brain which control emotion are located closer to the back, which means the nerves from the spine get to them first, which is why we tend to deal with the emotions first before thinking clearly. Emotions are used in everything from decision making to social interaction, and they play a huge role in human lives. So, addressing the question, emotions have various different responses in the human body, and they are to express socially. The emotions are usually meant to are usually thought to mean expressing to others your status, basically. What's going on with you? If you smile, you're happy. But why do we show expressive responses under the influence of emotions? Why do we smile when we're happy? Why do we frown when we're sad? So what is a smile? Defining a smile is fairly simple. It's the curving of the mouth upwards, and this is to show pleasure, happiness, joy, safety to other human beings. Smiling is generally seen as a social reaction and showing status to other humans. For example, frowning to show displeasure, and crying to show distress and to summon help. However, humans tend to show emotional responses even when they're alone. This is because humans are inherently social beings. They, even when they are alone in non-social situations, they imagine themselves in a social situation. So there are generally considered to be two main types of smiles. First of all is the Pan-American smile. The Pan-American smile is referred to as the fake or play smile. And this is a smile that's produced voluntarily, using the muscles by a human being. Usually they don't show true emotions, but instead are used for social reasons. And the second type of smile is the Duchenne smile. This is considered the genuine smile, which actually shows emotions and happiness. And they involve the curving of the mouth upwards, bulging of the cheeks, and the movement and tension in the muscles in the eye. This is how you differentiate a true smile, the Chinese smile, from a Pan-American smile. Because in a Pan-American smile, the muscles in the eye do not tense up. So here are a few examples. As you can see here, the muscles in the eye tense up, and you can see the smile looks genuine. But here it looks more of a fake smile, of a smile just to show, like, just for social interaction. They don't actually show happiness. And you can see the eye muscles are not influenced. They're not moving. So what causes a smile? Pan-American smiles and Chinese smiles have different causes, and they're controlled by different parts of the body. The Pan-American smiles are purely controlled by the motor cortex. They're only muscle movements. They're not influenced by anything, and they're voluntary smiles that are just used for social interaction. But the Chinese smiles are involuntary, and they're created from physiological responses and affected by certain parts of the brain. So to see the difference between Pan-American smiles and Chinese smiles, you can observe victims of stroke, different victims of stroke. Victims who have damage to the motor cortex cannot voluntarily smile. However, if they experience happiness, they involuntarily smile, which results in a Duchenne smile. However, victims of stroke that have damage in their deeper-seated basal ganglion, which is located in the limbic system of the brain, which has a lot to do with emotion, cannot involuntarily smile when they're happy. They can only produce Pan-American smiles or fake smiles. So why do we smile? Many early studies have theorized that smiling to show happiness is a trait that humans learn from observing others at a younger age. They see their parents smiling, for example, and they learn what smiling is, just like they would learn a language, and they smile. That's what previous studies have thought smiling comes from. However, later studies have shown that even in the womb, the infants in the womb at later stages of pregnancy are showing Duchenne smiles, and babies at a younger age also show the Duchenne smiles, and later on they even have the Pan-American fake smiles or play smiles, which tells us that smiling is an innate ability in humans. It's not something that we pick up from social interaction. However, does that mean that smiling is purely innate and has nothing to do with social interaction? Another study was done on feral children. Feral children are wild children who live in isolation. They're not with their parents. They live in the wild, for example, and are completely isolated from human interaction. And it has been shown that these feral children, who are cut off from other humans, do not usually smile. They might have smiled in the womb, but being isolated from humans for so long, they've lost the ability to smile. This shows us that while smiling is an innate ability, it is also affected by observing humans socially and learning what a smile is. Since these children lived in isolation, they never truly learned what a smile is, so they might have different reactions when they're happy instead of smiling. But why a smile? We've analyzed the meaning of a smile, and we've analyzed the origins, its social uses. However, why do we specifically perform a smile in response to happiness, when we want to convey happiness? Some emotional expressions can be explained, like for example, being surprised. Being surprised is theorized to have originated from when a human senses danger, and he opens his eyes and raises his eyebrows to improve perception and get a better look to stop the danger. Which is why when we are surprised, we do the same. This is the expression we get. However, smiling and frowning have not yet been scientifically proven. We cannot prove why a human, for example, raises his mouth in an upward concave when he is happy. Why this specific reaction? We cannot yet prove it. Some have stated that up is positive and down is negative. However, these aren't really scientific claims, and they're not really a legitimate explanation for why humans smile. So, thank you for listening. My presentation is over, and all our presentations are over, so I think now we're all going to have Duchenne smiles because we're done. Questions? Questions?
Kooheji, do you think that a Pan-American smile, and like smiling with a Pan-American smile for so long, can give the illusion of having actual emotions, even though it doesn't show emotion and I'm thinking it?
Pan-American smiles actually affect the person who's smiling. They actually affect his emotions. They make him happy or something.
So if I'm in an extremely bad mood and I give a Pan-American smile,
yes,
does that affect my emotional state?
It does affect your emotional state, actually. But the others seeing you make that Pan-American smile will know it's not a genuine smile because of the lack of movement in the eye muscles. Any more questions?
If I am mad and I force myself to smile, would that make me feel better?
Usually it does, but it differs from situation to situation. You might think to yourself that, oh, this isn't a real smile, I'm not actually happy, and it will have no effect. But usually actually smiling or even frowning, actually frowning can cause you to have more negative, a more negative emotion.
I've heard that chimpanzees smile when they are agitated and afraid.
agitated or afraid.
Yeah.
Well, that just shows that in different species there might be a different emotional expression for different situations. Emma?
Don't you think that they might smile in order to make themselves feel better when they're agitated?
Maybe that is the case. However, I have not read any scientific proof about this, and maybe that is the case. Yes. Any more questions?
I think I have it, Coach.
Have you explored the connection between the sunnah smile, like, smiling in the face of your brother to get the smile back? So is it maybe that the first smile that you give is that one that, okay, you're bringing out the smile, but it may create that Duchenne smile that you were talking about?
Yes, like if you smile in your brother's face and he smiles back, that will make you happy. That will make give you a physiological response. And you will actually be truly happy and not just moving your muscles. Advance.
So if I'm sad and force a smile, it could affect my mood to become better?
It could affect your mood, yes. That's it. No more questions? Thank you, guys.